Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. We apologize for the slight delay. We had so much content that we needed to make sure that we were going to present things in a certain sequence, and that's what took us a little bit of time. But we're all set now, and let's welcome Sumit Peer ji. Sumit ji, Namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Sri sir, Namaskar, Pranam, Vanakkam, Sadhuwan. Thank you very much for the invitation. Always a pleasure.
Viewers, please like, share, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click on the bell button for notification. Sumit ji, we are going to be talking about the ongoing riots, disturbances in Pak-occupied Jammu and Kashmir area. Sumit ji, I'll leave the floor to you. You have a lot of video evidence to present, starting with something as recent as today. Over to you, sir. And give us an update on what is happening, because there's a lot that needs to be shared. This is the first time you're doing an in-depth on Pak-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So in the name of Bhagwan Sri Ganesha, Lord Sri Ganesha, let's do the Sri Ganesha of this vlog. So the most important thing, if you relate to what we have been talking on Thursday and what we are talking on Saturday, usually we don't take a Pakistan so fast, because there have been in the last 2 days, there has a hell of series of developments. A hell of development has happened. So it was important that this Saturday evening we pick up Pakistan again and especially focus on PoJK. I have a few videos which will set the context. Sachinji, can you play the videos so that people can have a bit of a context, and I'll add on the commentary to it. This is PoJK today. Let me add the context to it, then we move to the next video. Sri sir, what is happening in PoJK? You can see people have hit the roads. There are masses. This is not a chota mota incident, somebody pelting stones here and there. There are masses which are out. There is no food, there is no water, there is no electricity, there is nothing. Last time we talked about how they were producing electricity and selling to the central grid at ₹2 and buying at 88 rupees. Now the good news is Pakistan will have tomorrow 12 rupees hike in petrol. It's already at 324, I believe. From tomorrow, it will be around 350 rupees, 340 rupees. Now, with that plight and the situation is really boiling and getting out of the control, today people have hit PoJK. And what is the unfortunate news is that more than 12 to 15 people have been killed. These have been killed by Pakistani rangers. They have fired indiscriminately at the people. Now, Pakistani rangers are timid. They are worried that a Bangladesh-like things are shaping up. They are worried there might be a Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, which is not kind of disclosed. He's somewhere hiding. And with this kind of explosive movements going on, people hitting the roads is exactly what happened in Bangladesh. Now they have to crush the voice of the people, to install the fear in them. They killed around 12 to 15 people. That is PoJK. So 15 people are dead by morning to this day. That is the news number one. Sachinji, we can go to the next video. शपथ लेते हैं। Now, this video is of, sir, there's a place, who read Urdu, they can read it. There's a place called Abbaspur. Now, Abbaspur is in PoJK. Here, the people have been called by the local leaders, and they are saying that, Bhaiya chodo, leave everything. We want to join India. We are no longer interested in Pakistan. There is nothing called PoJK. There is nothing called Azad Kashmir and all. And this is why, especially, I want to, send this message to these so-called India-based separatists and, those terror sympathizers. They are saying there is nothing in Pakistan. Pakistan is not sustainable. Pakistan is broken. Pakistan khatam ho chuka. Let's go and join India. That is the point number 3. Now, Sachinji, I will request you to show the last video, which I sent you, last video. Now, after that, we'll show you one more video. It's slightly thoda purana. It's slightly not updated as today. A couple of days back, wherein you can see, and you will see something very interesting happening here.
अपनी शपथ लेते हैं कि हम हिंदुस्तान की आईन अपनी जमहूरियत को मजबूत करने के लिए और शेड्यूल ट्राइब और इस गरीब कौम की लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए हम अपनी जमहूरियत को मजबूत करने के लिए और इस तिरंगे झंडे की शान के लिए वादाबंद है। जय हिंद, जय हिंद, हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद, हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद, हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद।
Now, this is a sharp contrast. On one side of the border, there are people who are up in arms, they are getting killed, they are getting slaughtered, they are getting, chopped and cropped. And here on this side of the line, these are people who are again living on the border areas, and 99.99% of them are Muslims. They are Bakrwal community and all. What are they saying? We will fight with Indian army, we will give our lives, our last breath and our last drop of blood is dedicated to the India, Tiranga and Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Vande Mataram. You can see the sharp contrast, sir. The people on the one side have been killed, slaughtered, and they're saying we want to join India. And these people on the other side, see how happy they are, see how much contented they are. This is my message to those separatists who believe that there's some problem in Kashmir. This is my message to Anwarul Haq Kakkad, who has recently spoken a lot of crap about Kashmir. And this is my message to ISPR and Pakistani army and their sympathizers and even some Kashmiri politicians and the propaganda machinery. These are all Muslims which you have shown. They're just on this side of the line. It's exactly the same set of people. You see what is the difference between an India and Pakistan, what the government of India has done, how Kashmir has moved on, and where the PoJK is. So it is our duty to relieve PoJK. So Sachin bhai will go to the next video. So I was just trying to show contrast. We can go to the next video which you have.
आदमी को लगता है इसकी टाइमिंग है, कुछ को घटना से पहले लगता है, कुछ को घटना के वक्त लगता है, कुछ को घटना के बाद लगता है। मैं थर्ड कैटेगरी वाला आदमी हूँ। मुझे जब घटना से पहले मेरा दिमाग शायद उस बात पर नहीं होता है कि इसमें मेरे लिए डेंजर कितना है। जब हो रही होती है तो उसके बाद सारा माइंड ऑक्यूपाइड होता है, फोकस्ड होता है, आप कर क्या रहे हैं। जब सब कुछ हो जाता है, अब घर आ जाते हैं और सिगरेट पीने लगते हैं, तो फिर लगता है कि यार क्या हो सकता था।
This is a very small video to put everything in context, because it is what Mr. Doval had said once. So it is not recent, it's an old video, but these are the words of Mr. Doval, and he's a man of action. He's a zero bullshit person. Whenever he says something, he means. So what is happening in PoJK? What is happening then we'll also talk about Chitral, sir. So what is happening in PoJK and what is happening in everywhere? First of all, in PoJK, we have 12 to 15 people dead who are agitating. We have people on this side who are set, who are ready to fight hand in hand with the Indian army and ready to give their lives for the mother India. And we have Mr. Doval who has already said, what is his thought process about. So what has happened now from PoJK? Let me go to Sindh. What has happened in Sindh today? In Sindh today, on an alleged crackdown by Rangers, we have at least 10 to 12 people again killed. There are again people who were not protesting, they were having no arms. So Rangers have killed 10 to 15 people here. This is happening in Sindh today, and this was PoJK today. This was Abbaspur. We have shown you on this side of the border, we have shown you what Mr. Doval has to say. Now, what happened between Thursday and today? Two important things. Friday was this Eid al-Nabi, that is the birthday of Prophet Muhammad. And it's a big day of celebration for the Islamic world. So on this big day of celebration of the Islamic world, remember on Thursday, Sree sir, we told you that Pakistan is contemplating of taking out 1.1 million Afghans out of Pakistan, saying we'll let them, hum unko nikal denge. And when I spoke to some of my Afghan sources, they told me ki inke baap ki zameen hai kya, right? That's what we discussed on Thursday. Friday, on the occasion of Eid, right? On the birthday of Prophet, 4 major attacks happened in Pakistan. Multan, KPK, Afghanistan border. So in these 4 major attacks, so not Multan, that was Balochistan, KPK to Afghan border. In 4 major attacks, 160 people got killed. And how many more are going to die? We don't know, because that is where the numbers look like yesterday. And what was yesterday, sir? It was Eid Muladul Nabi, the birthday of Prophet Muhammad. So you can see how Muslims are killing each other even on the birthday of Prophet. How violence is happening even on the birthday of Prophet. I told him, for the sake of God, you could have given it a day. If you have to even do it, you could leave the day of Eid. But even on the day of Eid, that repercussions, that revenge, that killing, that blood has to flow, and a lot of them were even offering more. We're offering this this prayers for the Eid, and this happened. That's point number one. Point number two, which is to be noted there, is now 160 yesterday, 4 attacks. What is the difference of these 4 attacks? 4 attacks happened by 3 organizations almost simultaneously. Afghan border, Balochistan, and KPK. These 3 happened simultaneously. What is the message? The message is to the Pakistani establishment. The message is to the Pakistani army. The message is to Pakistani ISI and all. We can attack at will. The message is to Pakistan. You cannot think of throwing out Afghans here. It is impossible. आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Yes, you have a point to make, sir.
I just wanted to make sure. You said 4 attacks. So were there 2 in KPK? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 2 in KPK, 1 in Balochistan, and 1 in Afghanistan border. So in all, 160 people dead. And one of this high-profile Maulana, who was also a so-called Sharif Admi, one of those NGO guys, he also is kind of eliminated yesterday. Now, if you look at these attacks, this talks about how easily you can disturb peace and harmony in Pakistan, how fragile is the security situation in Pakistan, how bad are the internal cracks of Pakistan, and these people are talking of liberating India. And today we have seen how Rangers have at least slaughtered 25 to 30, innocent people who were just protesting because they don't have food, they don't have water. So the answer to Rangers is, let me go and kill you. This is what is happening in Pakistan. And what is happening on the background when we see these things? We discussed on Thursday that the Pakistani Prime Minister was not given permissions to land in Saudi Arabia. What did he do? Oh, he asked for first, I want to land because I want to meet your guys. So he was denied the permission. What did he do? He played the second. He said, okay, I want to do Umrah. Umrah is Hajj. Now I want to touch down for Hajj. Now it is very, very difficult for Saudis to say no to a Pakistani head of state who wants to come to Saudi for Hajj, because usually you cannot deny a head of state to perform a pilgrimage. So now when Pakistani Prime Minister yesterday was in Saudi, he said, I have touched down here because on the auspicious occasion of Eid, or and the festivities of Eid, I want to kind of pray for the peace and harmony of the Pakistan. I want to pray for the stability and development of Pakistan. And when this is happening, this is what happens in Pakistan. I have seen for the first time the quantum of violence of this proportion. 160 people yesterday, 12 other 25, 30 people today. So these 2 days I'm talking of 170, 180 people, maybe more. God knows how many will be, will die in hospitals and all that. I have a lot of videos of the bomb blasts, but we can't show them because it's very painful to see those bodies being blown into, pieces and all. So this is happening when Pakistan Prime Minister is saying, I'm in Hajj because I want to pray for peace, pray for peace and stability of Pakistan. We have 180 people killed on the day of Eid. That is the real situation of Pakistan. Now let me take you to and Balochis every second they are doing attack. Sindhis in Sindh there's an attack. KPK there's every attack. And today people from China and all are going to Afghanistan and are trying to persuade Taliban, please do not declare KPK as your own territory, right? What are KSG saying? Tomorrow, 1st October, we'll have new taxes on Pakis, more burden. Yeah, because I told you the petrol will go up by 80, 90 rupees. It will be around 345 rupees a litre. So that is the position of petrol, and more taxes will be announced. Now, with this kind of situation, sir, what is happening on the backdrop? Now, you're seeing in UN what we showed for the first time. What happened this time? Balochis protesting against Pakistan in UN. Sindhis protesting against Pakistan in UN. KPK guys protesting, PoJK guys protesting, and GB protesting. Except Sunni Punjab, everybody is protesting against the Pakistan in front of UN in United States. This has happened again for the first time. And for the first time, Now, so-called think tanks, which are funded mostly by CIA, there are more than 5,000 think tanks are funded by CIA in the world. Now, these think tanks and all have started talking and questioning Pakistan about the minorities, about the plight of human, rights in Pakistan and what exactly is happening in Pakistan. So we have seen this as a major development because Pakistanis, demonstrating against Pakistan, Pakistan NGOs and these think tanks and all questioning Pakistan. A lot of being raised about what the Pakistan is doing. We have seen the cloud of India, how it has increased in the UN, and we've seen the recent visit of Dr. Jaishankar. At the same time, when Pakistani Prime Minister is busy doing a Umrah, and by the way, in this state visit, no high-profile leader ever met him. Not even a crown prince has met him. What is happening in Pakistan? Even at the day of Eid, you're killing each other mercilessly. This is what is happening. And what my sources tell me, tomorrow it will reach GB. And GB, you have to understand, GB, it is 66%, it is Ahmadiyya and Shia dominated, and there are 33% Sunnis. I fear, sir, my fear is, Sree sir, in GB, you can have a much worse outcome. We can expect more people to get killed. Unfortunately, I don't want people to get killed, but what my sources are telling me that because it's mostly the Shia population and the Ahmadiyyas, so more and more people will get killed. Remember, what did this Anwarul Haq Kakkar said to a BBC reporter? He said, look, I'm going to fight for everybody's rights, including Ahmadiyyas. But I dare you, Kakkar, can you come and say that can you dare say that in Pakistan and give an interview that you will fight for the rights of Ahmadiyyas? You will never dare to do that. And with this happening, with this fiasco breaking loose in Pakistan, with people being slaughtered, what is happening? Anwarul Haq Kakkar has given an interview to one of the BBC journalists. He asked him, the journalist asked, what about the missing people in Balochistan? Now, we know there are more than 45,000 to 50,000 people who are missing in Balochistan, and most of them are killed. There's nobody missing, but I mean, say 98, 95% of them are dead. They have been buried somewhere or their bodies disposed of or whatever. You know, Sree sir, what Mr. Kakkar has to say? He says, yes, I'm a military man. I am from Balochistan, and as per my knowledge, only 50 people are missing. Do you believe this? He says only 50 people are missing from Balochistan. I mean, who on this earth will believe him? 50 people are missing in Balochistan. And he's a Baloch himself. He's a Baloch himself. He says 50 people are only missing. And you know what does he say? You should go and see how many people are missing in Indian occupied Kashmir. Reporter tells him, sir, I'm talking to the Pakistani Prime Minister. When I will talk to the Indian Prime Minister, I'm going to ask this question. So you ask me, you tell me about Balochistan. Sir, 45 to 50,000 Baloch nationals are missing. This is the reality. So when I do a hypothesis, after this Pakistani, and we know the virus issue, we know the Chinese, how many kids have lost their eyesight and all. We discussed that in our Hindi vlog. But my problem here is why this quantum of violence and quantum of disgruntlement and quantum of protests and this people left. Why are rangers now firing at civilians? There is a pressure which is building inside. And especially when these Pakistanis realize that one news went viral, Prime Minister Modi has taken out 13 crore, 130 million people from poverty. And in Pakistan, in last 8-9 years, during the same time, 9 crore, that is 90 million people have entered poverty, have become poor. So when this sharp contrast is coming, when the numbers are being revealed, they have nothing more to say. That they are really, really rattled by what is happening in India. And what Pakistan's worst nightmare is? Pakistan's worst nightmare is, has a Bangladesh-like movement arrived? And if you look at Mr. Doval's small video, what we played, and if you contemplate everything, sir, if you want to put everything in a box, their fails are in a way well called for. And let's not forget, after October end, even China cannot help you. We already discovered how reliable is Chinese arsenal. China cannot help you. Americans are not interested in you, and you supported Canada. Canada is nowhere. Russians will not help you because you supplied arms and ammunition to Ukrainians. So Russia will not help. China cannot help. America is not interested to help. Who is left to help? And with all this, Game of Thrones going on, one interesting development also happened. With a bit of caution, I want to tell you all this. And I'm very sure a lot cannot be revealed. Whatever I can reveal, I'll reveal. We discussed Hafiz Saeed's son. Hafiz Saeed's son has disappeared. That too happened on the day of Eid. And this 𝗤𝙗𝘃𝗍𝙁𝙁, 𝗤𝙗𝘃𝗍𝙁, whatever his name was, the person we covered in the last episode, I don't remember this name of terrorist. He was killed with 10 bullets. Anyway, that's done. Now, there was news which hit the social media yesterday, sir, which says that Hafiz Saeed's son is killed. But today, Pakistani army and ISI released a picture. No video, a picture. No, he's alive. The fact remains, is he killed or is he alive? For me, the fact is somewhere in between. I believe, yeah, you were saying something. Ji.
Sumit ji, whenever you want to show proof of life of somebody, right? Whenever, this is worldwide accepted thing. What you normally do is you have the person and he'll be holding a newspaper of that local area where the date can be prominently picked up. Sometimes they will even have him hold it, then they'll zoom into the date and then they'll come out to say that, look, this man is alive. Was there any proof of date on that picture?
It's only a picture given, sir, because what I have gathered from the sources is that possibly this is done by, again, it was done on the Eid, right? This is done by Afghans. This is Afghan metal, and he's somewhere in the area of Wakhan corridor, somewhere in that area, which is predominantly dominated by Afghans. Now, who asked them to do it? Anybody's guess. I'm not talking on that. Anybody's guess who asked them to do it and why people should do it. Because Afghans will not do it on their own. Because Afghans want somebody, they will take a minister, they will take a high-profile general. Why should they take Hafiz Saeed's son? He's of no use to Afghans. Though Hafiz Saeed has 10, 12 children, 5, 6 sons, 5, 6 daughters. Agar ek aath nikal bhi jata, it's not a big deal. But now, the dent is there. If Hafiz Saeed's son can be picked up from KPK, who is safe? What about those Chela Chapatas? How safe and how, how convinced they are sounding over the whole plot. And ISI is not able to track him. Now, couple of outcomes which can happen. Maybe somebody is interrogating him. I don't know. Maybe during interrogation, he reveals something which is useful. Maybe during interrogation, he gets killed. It's also possible. Or maybe you hold him back and at the right point of time, he is your bargaining chip. He can be used as a bargaining chip. And remember, sir, we have a gentleman there called Kulbhushan Jadhav, an impeccable gentleman whom they kidnapped from Iran, and they were trying to say something to do with raw and all that crap he talks about. So this is what is happening in Pakistan. Hafiz Saeed's son is missing. ISI and all are not able to trace him. Nadeem Anjum, as per my sources, is in Pakistan, and Asim Munir, we know he is in Pakistan. And that is why these rangers have gone crazy. They have started shooting everybody and anybody because unki awqat pe banai hai. People are questioning their awqat. You are bloody good for nothing. Sorry to use a word, bad word. You're good for nothing. That is why these people have gone bananas and they've started shooting these people. Now with this Mujibur Rahman movement on the cards, yeah, you were saying something. Gee.
I'm very sorry to keep interrupting. Viewers, there's some sort of a fluctuation going on today in the real time of how many are watching. I see it go bit like 500, 600 people are dropping off and coming back up. There's nothing I can do. If people lose interest, people lose interest. But we are in the middle of a very important narrative. All I can request all of you is to like this video and let us make sure that that likeness happens quickly so that the maximum number of people can watch. I don't think you have watched some of the videos that we have put out here anywhere before. Sumit ji and I have been hard at work getting all these things together for you. So I'd like you to just like this video. Back to you, Sumit ji. No more interruptions unless it's absolutely necessary.
Not a problem at all, sir. In fact, when you interrupt, I get a breather. Now, what is happening is, sir, when these things are happening, now you have a Mujibur Rahman-like movement happening. You have people protesting. You have rangers killing the people. You have your own people protesting against UN. Your army is hatter. China's you. Americans are not interested in you. Russians hate you now. With all those things happening, you are really worried. In that thing, Hafiz Saeed's son gets picked up. And God knows, maybe he is used at the right time as a bargaining chip. That is also a possibility that's a possibility. in a bigger scheme of things, that is also possible. So if he is killed, Pakistani army and Pakistani ISI and Hafiz Saeed's nose is cut. And let me tell you, sir, since Balakot, nobody has seen Masood Azhar. No video of his. They were saying he's alive, he has kidney problem and all, because as per my knowledge, he is already dead and buried in Balakot. So there's nothing left of Masood Azhar. Similarly, this is happening to Hafiz Saeed's son. If it can happen to one son, it can happen to another son. And tomorrow it can happen to the Sharif Admi himself. Sharif Admi, I mean Hafiz Saeed. It can happen to himself. If it can happen to Hafiz Saeed, it can happen to Ladkhvi. If it can happen to Ladkhvi, it can happen to somebody else. And don't ask me who is doing it. I don't know. I mean, you can take your own guesses who is doing it. Even I can take a guess. Everybody is free to take a guess who is doing it. And let me say one thing. I have an idea. If India really wants to set a benchmark, and I know we are today competent and capable of doing it. There is one idiot in Pakistan. His name is Shuja Pasha. Parliament attack, major attacks, and 26/11. He was the chief of ISI. I think time has come to settle his account. If we can settle his account, not only Pakistan, not only the world, all the 8 billion people in the world will get a message which will be very clear, very subtle, and very direct. Because these idiots, these murderers who believe in murdering people in the name of state policy, in the name of jihad, in the name of whatever ideology they follow, they must meet the same end. If somebody is listening, this can be a wonderful idea to set the clear, slate clean, because we can keep on sending dossiers to Pakistan and all, they're not going to do anything. But the person who orchestrated it definitely needs to pay for it. So maybe something in that direction has already started. With these things happening and with these developments happening at a rapid pace, I was trying to understand why these rangers are going crazy, why they're shooting people. Now, if you understand the sequence of things, sir, you will understand why these people have gone crazy. Pagal kyun ho gaye? Why have they gone mad? They have gone mad because of this. And because today they have realized even Afghanistan has whisked away from their hands. Because wherever his son was picked in KPK, where can you go? KPK se aap kahan jaoge? KPK se the only one way to go is Afghanistan. And only one way is to go through is through Wakhan corridor. So, I mean, that area, and who can go inside KPK and do it? Obviously, they have to be Pathans. And you were Pakistanis were talking about, we will throw out 1.1 million Pathans out of Pakistan as they are terrorists. Right? Now, the question here is, your blue-eyed boy is gone. I don't know, permanently, temporarily, or for some time. With all those things happening, and if you relate to Mr. Doval's video, sir, I think something bigger is brewing in PoJK. And GB will be next to follow. And we have our strategy on ground. And whatever our strategy is, whatever we are going to do, this Pakistanis don't seem to understand. They don't know. They have been thinking on one tangent, but we have opened 5 tangents for them. Now, if you look at these analogy of 5 tangents, which tangent are we going to go? It's exactly like a firewall. What I read somewhere, firewall has 10,000 mazes. So if you want to enter a firewall, there are 10,000 mazes going out. So which way you are going to go, that you don't know. Instantly, there's some important developments of Chitral. Sir, if you can, give us a perspective on that. And Chitral we have discussed before as well. When those things were happening, those kalashis of Chitral and all that. We discussed that earlier. So over to you, Sree sir.
Thank you so much. And viewers, this was the map of Jammu and Kashmir around 1947, 1948. And it shows you various regions. And the interesting thing about Chitral is that they had been part of Jammu and Kashmir. But during this 1947, 1948, merger and accession agreement and things like that, somehow the agreement with Chitral was not touched. Now it so happened that Chitral is free to announce that it will be part of India if they want to. So there is an interesting dynamic that is coming up. I'm going to get you more information in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to give you a thought that this is also another interesting development. You can see there, Baltistan is a big area, a part of Ladakh, And then there's also 𝗪𝙘𝘀. 𝗪𝙘𝘀 has been given by Pakistan or sold by Pakistan to China because of its fresh water sources. And how can you sell something that you don't even have? So there are lots of questions here. And then we are also showing you the Aksai Chin area here, which of course has been carved out by China. So this is how the map used to look like. And, it will not be long before we will come back to this as all of it being part of India. So I'll refer back to Sumitji. Please, conclude in a few minutes. And then I'll give some more updated news about the Chitral information. Over to you, sir.
Sir, one or two more developments which have happened, which are important to put on the ground, is with all this fiasco happening, there is no government in Pakistan. It's a caretaker government. They're saying elections in January. I doubt. No seasoned politician from Pakistan is uttering a word. What are they going to do? What are their options? What are they contemplating? They are not even talking about it. Now, with all this thing happening, one thing struck my mind. What is Pakistan up to? What are they doing? Incidentally, it is more and more clear Pakistan doesn't have the control of nuclear reserves. It's more and more clear Pakistan doesn't have the money to fight. It's more and more clear the morale of the army is down. It's more and more clear Afghanistan is not with them. And the biggest body blow to Pakistan has been, now CPEC is over, sir. No further cooperation between China and Pakistan on CPEC, what we announced in our last episode. What does that mean? China is ready to give away its investments in Pakistan. $65 billion gone, khatam, okay, swaha. And remember, Sree sir, I told on PGurus that when there was a talk of a new 50 billion project connecting something by rail, I told you, sir, it's all hot air. If CPEC could not be completed in 10 years, when will you start a 50 billion project by rail? And when will you complete it? You could not even build a road. Now our transport corridor, which we have built, we don't need a BRI, forget the CPEC. So technically speaking, Chinese have no interest in Pakistan today, except hurting India. There's no economic interest in Pakistan. So China's CPEC, which they used to use as a big bargaining tool, look, if we lose PoJK, then CPEC will not work, Mr. China. What are you going to do? If CPEC doesn't work, your BRI will not work. If your BRI doesn't work, then your grandmother's dream of this medieval kingdom will not work. Now, when China has said no more cooperation on CPEC, what does that mean? CPEC is gone. Our corridor, which we announced from Mumbai and all, the work has already started. A lot of it is already in place. Some will be put in place. So with BRI and CPEC gone, China's interest in Pakistan is gone. Afghanis have proven that they don't want Pakistan, and Afghanis have even banned Pakistani rupiah there. Most of these attacks which happened yesterday, some of them were done by on the border by Afghani Taliban, inside the border by 𝗤𝙑 Taliban and Balochis. So there is a full-fledged war against Pakistan. And we have discussed how children have been blinded. Now, in this scenario, can we say that the breakup of Pakistan has started? The balkanization of Pakistan has almost started. It's a matter of time, at the right point of time, when we are able to give a decisive blow and hit them hard, which will be at a minimum cost and minimum casualties. Because it's not objective, will we do it or not? Our objective is to do it at a minimum cost and minimum casualties. That is what we are aiming at. So with this Pakistan getting cornered everywhere and these movements happening in Pakistan, the biggest fear in Pakistan is today, when is India going to hit back? And another fear in Pakistan is that Pakistan has no future. There is nothing left in Pakistan. And the music to my ears is, there's nothing called China now. China has no interest, no economic interest in Pakistan. All the interests of China and Pakistan are over. Sree sir, over to you.
Yes, so this was the map that Adi, Achint and I discussed a few days back, and viewers are encouraged to go back to understand how the splitting of Pakistan is how people have come up with this map. This map was drawn based on input from several people, and that video explains to you all the stuff. And now if you could go back to the Chitral map, please, because I have more additional information on that. So we will come back to that point. Thank you so much. So what had happened is 1978, guys, the Mehta Mulk negotiated and was subsequently made a vassal of Jammu and Kashmir. This agreement was never revoked. So you understand, right? I mean, when the British said that each one is free to go and do whatever they want, they forgot about Chitral. So today, Chitral is officially still part of Jammu and Kashmir, even though it is disconnected physically. Now, what can happen is Chitral can legally seek to rejoin Jammu and Kashmir, and that might give us a huge boost. I mean, you have this outlying province called Chitral, and it says, hey, listen, we never went away. We want to be part of India. So this is also a new development that is coming up, and we have to wait and see. And I have to thank Professor Subhash Kak, who, by way of a series of tweets, put out this information. So I just thought I'll add that also here, because it is, the topic is Pak occupied Jammu Kashmir. We're talking about all of the areas that were part of this. 1878, this had happened. Over to you, Sumit ji. Wrap it up, please, and then we'll have some questions.
Just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You see, when we discussed last time the developments in Chitral, we have these Kalashis who are basically Hindus, the 𝗤𝙗𝘗𝑆, and they also have a bit of a Buddhist and a bit of a Greek
Buddhist
tradition.
also, right.
And
right.
Greek traditions in them, but it's 90% Hinduism and 5% Buddhist and Greek traditions. Now, I have been observing that whenever there's anything on Chitral, these goddamn 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘁𝘁 Pakistani YouTubers and these media doesn't dare to talk about Chitral, because there's a very, very clear directive from ISPR: do not talk Chitral. I was discussing with you, sir, ye Chitral ki baat kyun nahi karte? Now, after your today's revelation, the things have added up more, because they know Chitral is technically no man's land. If you bring Chitral into the forefront, then this Pandora's box will open, which we have opened today. Thank you to you. So with this Chitral thing opening up, this can lead to a new thing. Now that our Kalashi brothers, which are in Chitral and all, they can directly say we are a part of India. And then if they say we're a part of India, technically it is a part of India, then we have to liberate Chitral at any cost. So maybe the liberation of PoJK can start from Chitral itself, right? Why not? Chitral is a very important province. There's a lot of resources and there's a lot of population which is favoring us. These people are very, very scattered, very, very, what do you call it, timid about Chitral. Now, I was trying to understand why technically, which you clarified today. And if I add Chitral, so let me summarize. Chitral, Balochistan, PoJK, GB, Sindh, KPK, minus Sunni Punjab, everything in Pakistan is under turmoil. Everything in Pakistan is under, breaking apart. And people of Pakistan are saying we want to be part of India. And now today, with this indiscriminate killing of innocents, with this blinding of children, with what is happening by the, attacks happening on the day of Eid, 4 attacks, 3 different places simultaneously. Sir, isn't it a message? If this is not a message to Asim Munir and to Nadeem Manju, what else is a message? And if this is not the 𝗒𝙗𝘗𝘁𝑒 ki ganti, what else is the 𝗒𝙗𝘗𝑒 ki ganti? And let me remind you, Asim Munir and Nadeem Manju, do not raise your rangers. You have only 5 lakh of forge. Everybody in KPK has AK. And I hope and pray those AKs don't come out. And everybody in Pakistan has weapons, sir. There are 3 times the weapons sold than the size of the population. There are these weapons which you can buy on a mandi, $500, $400, you can buy anything. I hope and pray there's not a lot of bloodbath in Pakistan. But if push comes to shove, if Rangers continue this indiscriminate killing and continue to show their power, not only there will be bloodbath, but the breakup of Pakistan will be very imminent. What I've been always saying, it will happen, but the only thing we have to see is how much of blood needs to be spilled. The blood will be spilled. So we want this minimum, cost and minimum casualties, because Pakistan, the idea of Pakistan, the concept of Pakistan, the concept of jihad, the concept of ummah, the concept of Shariat, all those facades which they have created is not sustainable. If Muslims are killing each other in so-called Riyasat-e-Madina, as per Imran Khan, on the day of Eid Miladul Nabi, the birthday of Prophet, sir, it's all gone. It's all down the drain now. Can you imagine Hindus killing each other on a Diwali? Can you imagine Christians killing each other on a Christmas Day? Can you imagine we're doing this on a Janmashtami? right? Planting bombs in each other. No, it doesn't happen. I'm trying to highlight you how much is the fabric now weak. How strong are the undercurrents? So with those strong undercurrents, the breakup has already started. As a matter of time and place of our choosing, when do we want to start it and when do we want to conclude it? I will still bet my thoughts before the manifesto of BJP. That is my personal thought. There's nothing to do. I have no source. It's based on my personal thought. So things are going to get interesting in Pakistan. Namaskar.
Thank you, Namaskar. And let's now take some questions from all of you. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Rahul Rathod wants to know, question to both of you. Why most of the time we hear stories of violence during partition only from Punjab? Did partition of Rajasthan and Gujarat were smooth? I was doing research on it but didn't get much data.
In fact, Rahulji, whatever data we have, there's been what we know, we have not captured a lot, honestly. We only know 10-20% of the people which got reported killed, but there's a lot of killings which happened everywhere. And, unfortunately, Hindus which were coming from Pakistan to India had to pay a bigger price. A lot of them were slaughtered. I have read books wherein the trains used to come here, and when you will open the train, there were all dead bodies inside. So we have heard these stories. It's not from Rajasthan and all, it was smooth. People died there also, but only thing that they were not documented, there's not a lot of documentary proof today to talk about it. I will I'll urge some of the people to look into it, and we should make documentaries and movies to show how many people were killed. And if we do a recce on the ground, we'll get the numbers. But officially, we only know from Punjab. But the story was, you're right, Rahulji, the story did not start and end in Punjab only. It went to Rajasthan and it went to other parts where all the partition happened. It went to there also.
Rahul, one reason is Punjab was like the wheat bowl of India. A lot of agriculture going on there. Fertile lands on both sides. See, Rajasthan border with Pakistan, a lot of it is desert. And Gujarat's border with Pakistan, there's a lot of marshy area, which we call Run of Kutch. Run is the Sanskrit word that means, open wound. There is water, there is marsh, you put your leg there, you might be floating or you might not, you might sink, that sort of stuff. So there is not easily accessible routes. Pakistan, the Punjab on the other hand, had the train link. Lahore to Delhi was like the big deal. It was a big deal. So people did move from Karachi to Gujarat, and from Gujarat people, moved to Karachi. That did happen. Not as much as perhaps in the same, or the violence wasn't at the same level as what was experienced in Punjab. I mean, we have told you this, right? 90% of the businesses in what is today Pakistan, the 90% of the businesses were owned by Hindus. 70% of the administration was done by Hindus. And you told them you have 2 hours to leave. Sometimes they just, completely circled a Gurudwara or a temple where the Hindus or Sikhs were hiding, and they were demanding all the girls to come out. It's just heart-wrenching what has happened. It was horrible, horrible.
Sir, I want to add one single sentence. What happened to 6 lakh Sikhs? There were 6 lakh Sikhs in Lahore. Lahore was the capital of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. What happened to 6 lakh Sikhs of Lahore after partition? Today they are not even 4,000. Less than 4,000. What happened to 6 lakh Sikhs? Where did they disappear? Did they evaporate on a hot summer sunny day? No. They were all slaughtered, killed, converted. This has happened in Pakistan. It's all about, you see, why did I bring this issue today? Even on a day of Eid, the Muslims are killing each other in Pakistan. God save Hindus and Sikhs.
Next one. Ruckus Tale wants to know, all the alphabet soup organization, when looked at, find funding from Pakistan. Why don't we have our organizations backed by our intelligence for our narrative?
I didn't get the question.
This is the United States. He's talking about United States. I always refer to, there are lots of organizations. CAIR, IAMC, ICNA, ISNA, Hindus for Human Rights. This is run by Muslims. And Jewish Voice for Peace, again by the same group. These guys have really mastered the art of disinformation. So he's saying, how come these guys get funding, and how come India, our agencies, our organizations don't get funding. You see, the difference is that India does not believe in funding narratives. This is a mistake in my opinion. There are 400 lobbying companies in Washington, D.C. alone that peddle Pakistan's cause. I can count on my fingers how many are there on behalf of Indian Americans, India Hindus. Maybe 5 or 6, and 2 or 3 came in the last few months after SB 403. Then they really realized, oh my God, the house is burning now. That is how bad it is. You're going to say something.
Even if we look at the think tanks, so we all know CIA funds more than 5,000 think tanks worldwide. So the narratives have to be built, and I agree that the narrative building is an important thing. It's in today's time. Action, more important than action is narrative building. What is action with Pakistan? You can't go with war with Pakistan every day. You can't do a surgical strike against Pakistan every day. More important is narratives. So you have to counter narratives with narratives. You have to educate the people. If you keep quiet, people will assume, presume, and believe it's true over the time. That is what Joseph Goebbels had said. So these Pakistanis have been very actively doing this. Our agencies are working at their level. But yes, we need to kind of enhance our activities there. And I believe as a private individual, anybody to everybody who's a threat of India needs to be taken care of in whichever way.
Abhineet Singh wants to know, what will happen if Russia, China, Pakistan and North Korea come together and form a coalition?
Abhijit, it will not happen, because I'll tell you why. Russia and China, the divisions are already out and open now. North Korea has never ever spoken a word against India. Nobody was Pakistan. Who wants to swim with sandbags tied to his legs? So this alliance is not possible because, there's a stature. Russians have a stature. Even Chinese have some stature. But for North Korea is an island of its own. It's a, what do we call that? It's Robinson Crusoe's island. And Pakistan is a dying person on ventilator. So who will want to marry a dying person on ventilator and plan a family? It won't happen. That is what Pakistan is. So the alliances are there. If you are going, it's a give and take. What I'm going to get from you, what I'm going to take from you. It's not all the rogues get together and let's make an alliance of a roguistan. That doesn't want in geopolitics. Alliances are made for a objective, and wherein your and my strength together makes a much bigger strength. Here, there's no strength what Pakistan offers, except his henchman ISI, which is also useless and redundant nowadays.
Next question, please. 𝗤𝙜𝗍𝗍 𝗤𝙬𝙗 wants to know what CG is expected to do to eradicate or repulse Khalistani terrorists in Canada. I think it's Consulate General is what he's asking.
I think, you see, they are doing what they are doing. Today, the problem of Khalistan is a ghost, which is kept alive by Pakistan by its K2 desk. The ghost will continue to live as long as it gets political patronage, it gets funds from China, and it gets the support of the Canadian government. It's not what our consulate can do, what our consulate cannot do. Our consulates are doing their best. The problem is not our consulates, sir. The problem is political patronage, funding, and last 35 years of the rot and clutter which has gathered today, unfortunately. So this is not a process which will happen overnight, but I think I'm very sure if we talk about next year this time, the same date next year, you will see already a lot of ground would have covered, a lot of things would have happened. Now, if you look at current referendum which they did, only 50-60 people showed up. Because today they know there are cameras, people are watching, their properties will be attached in India, passports will be cancelled, PIO cards, OCI cards, everything will go. Their relatives will lose the money and property. So that things are being done. But the problem is the people who are already crossed on the other side and they have made millions out of this. A failed lawyer like Pannu is worth millions. He will not come back. He will continue his agenda. That's where he gets the money. It's not the law, it's the agenda.
Next one, please. Rahul Rathod wants to know, even if we get opportunity, should India take Pak-occupied Kashmir? Because population is highly radicalized and Gilgit people revolted against India and volunteered to join Pakistan. And anyway, future is in Indo-Pacific. You
see, Rahul, what do we need in PoJK? First of all, it's our territory. When the territory is going to come to us, all these radicalized, which are Punjabis, mostly Punjabi Sunni Muslims and all jihadis, they will move to Punjab. They will not be there because they know they have no future. Secondly, when you get PoJK, there are no training camps. Thirdly, when you get PoJK, you get access to fresh water resources. When you get PoJK and GB, you get access to minerals. Fourthly, you get access to Wakhan Corridor. Wakhan Corridor means you get access to the Central Asia, right? So with all these things happening, there's a lot of things which you can build, and there'll be a bigger buffer between you and China. The buffer between you and China will kind of increase in a way. So that is where the things are in the India's favor, and this is our territory. We have to take it. It's not a matter of what do we get plus minus. वो बात की बात है. But we have to take it. And the most important thing is the people of PoJK have realized, or the GB, I don't know what have they done traditionally, but they realize now there is no future with Pakistan. There is no future with Pakistan. This is the reality of life. We all have to acknowledge that. The world has to acknowledge that. You know, China saying that there will be no further corporation of CPEC. What does this mean? It is what we call in the term of insurance total loss. When you write off something, छोड़ दो भैया, write off कर दिया, total loss. Don't waste your time. That is what China is telling them. Next question.
Next question, please. Thank you so much, Gurkha Sunil. Sanjay Pasha and MiaMithoo too. Only flamethrower.
I didn't get the question, but if you're mentioning that these all should be kind of handled,
Taken care of.
I'm saying, sir, not only that. Anybody to everybody who does not fall in line and works against the interest of 1.4 billion people, we have a right to protect our interest. And whatever it takes to protect them, which we will have to do. I think nothing is about the safety of 1.4 billion people, in my opinion.
Next question, please. MT wants to know, Sumit sir, is there a China-USA collusion in Canada affair against India?
I think if you look honestly, if you look at China today, after G20, I don't see China as a power or a player on the world arena. You see all the major developments which are happening in the world. Don't you feel like, I was talking to somebody today on the TV, don't you feel like China is kind of getting alienated? So Sree sir, have you felt that? There is not a much talk of China, what it used to be 1 or 2 years back about China. Now after G20, world realized one thing which I told you on PGurus, the world can move on with or without China. And world is happy with it. Good. We are feeling light. This light, good. We don't want to carry this baggage of China always, because the insanity of a person cannot be the stumbling block for the world to progress and move on. There is a one person who's grossly insecure and has this perennial insecurity. So how can the world of 8 billion people be held hostage to his insecurities and his insanities? That is where China stands today, in my opinion.
Yeah, tomorrow at 10 o'clock in Hindi, we will be covering China. So do tune in for that. We have a lot of other information. Evergrande CEO is missing.
Yeah.
Where have you heard this story before?
Guy wo gaya, sir. A lot of more things happening in China, as on our series will discuss. And China is always interesting. And by the grace of God, whatever we have been predicting on PGurus, 98% of that is already coming true. So that is also Mahakal ki kripa. It is all coming true. So do tune in tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Now, ask Sumit ji, will financial aid be given to part of the PoJK to advertisement as a PoJK to join Bharat? No. Pradeep ji, I can't vouch, but what I know, what my guess is, what my idea is, that this 10 billion and 25 billion, which MBS was trying to show them as an investment, was already something on those lines. Right? Chhod do PoJK, low paisa, investment de denge, and why are you holding this land? You cannot do anything. With this 25 billion, you can restart your economy. You can possibly do something better for the people. That is what, there was I can't say there was an offer, but some people are thinking on those lines, I can tell you. We're thinking on those lines. And suddenly when these Pakistanis started to show tantrums, both the offers disappeared. As both the offers disappeared, so my logic kind of holds true.
Next question, please. Magad Ranga wants to know, Namaskar, why must Bharat do anything? Pakistan is doing to itself whatever Bharat wishes to do.
Ranga sir, Jai Mata Di, you could have not summed it better. I was going to sum in the end. Today, Pakistan and Pakistani politicians and military are exactly willing to do. See, my contention is always PoJK at minimal cost, possibly without firing a bullet, if that is possible. I don't know. So that at the minimal cost, at the minimal bloodshed, we want PoJK. Aaram se, pyar se. And that is what is happening. And Pakistanis are acting as catalysts today. They are, whatever could have happened 5 years down the line, they will pull it maybe into 6 months or 1 year down the line. So Pakistanis are doing a good work, Ranga sir. I agree with you. They're helping in our cause.
Deepak Bhatt wants to know, can unstable Pakistan not cause a large influx of refugees into India? A civil war is at least desired.
No, it won't happen, because you see, a refugee crisis happens to the countries who have this West-like liberal policies, where you welcome refugees, where you put them in a hotel and are willing to spend $12 billion for the next 3 years in 5-star hotels. We don't have any policies like that. They know it is not going to work here. They know we know how to handle refugee crisis, and it depends on the government of the center. In my estimate, Modi ji is going to make it again 101%. As long as Mr. Modi, Amit Shah, and Mr. Doval and Dr. Jaishankar are at the helm of affairs, there will be not a problem like this what you anticipate. But if things change, then everything can change.
Next one, please. Fact World wants to know, Sumit Peer sir, I am a Pakistani Hindu. I just wanted to know your views about the New World Order Agenda 2030.
Well, Mr. Fact, sir, it's a big program itself. We can do a complete program on this. But in my opinion, right, the world order is going to be a couple of things, what I think will happen. First of all, the time of connected world is ending. This was a concept which Americans wanted, now they don't want it. More and more countries will become independent. Atmanirbharta is the way going forward. Technology will determine what is your access to the future, what is your access to the prosperity. Your willingness of your population to work, skill, and unitary entrepreneurship will be very, very important things. Hinduism or the Sanatan Dharma will rise, there is no doubt about it. And I think by 2030, the clash of civilizations would have begun in Europe. Christianity and Islam will definitely have to go at war. I don't know when. It's on the cards. It's a matter of time. Pakistan will no longer be there. Russians will be there and trying to build their country. China would have already kind of broken by that time. There will be, all the cracks would be very, very visible. It would be like what we see in Pakistan today. Maybe already it's done. So India would have emerged, and we need very decisive and powerful government here. As long as we have that decisive and powerful government here, and we have a Prime Minister like Prime Minister Modi, we are at the right hand, so we are on the right path to go and excel. It's only the question of we have to believe ourselves. And let me tell you another thing in 2030. I can give you in writing today. In 2030, you will have more expats here than the number of NRIs out of India. So that is also going to happen. And what I see already, a lot of people from Canada, a lot of people write to me, right? A lot of people talk to me from Canada, from elsewhere in the world. Even after spending 15, 20 years there, they are contemplating to come back. Some people have already come back. I know a couple of people who spoke to me, not because I told them so. It's not on my advice. They had their own thought process. They are already in India, and they wrote to me, "Hum India aa gaye." So you have to look at what is going to be the country where are you going to happen for next 15 years, and what will be in India next 15 years. When you do the pros and cons, the dynamics of the whole thing are going to change. Human-led development, dependence on biofuels is going to, not biofuels, these petroleum products is going to go down. The relevance of Middle East in the bigger scale of things will go down. Europe is already kind of on a self-way of destruction itself. And with these refugee problems, which are becoming a problem, you look at the US numbers of housing and compare them with 2008, you will see them almost hitting their debt problems and all. So anybody who will be pure with dharma, karma will sustain. And I think India has a very, very bright and a very, very great future, but we need decisive and powerful Prime Minister like Prime Minister.
Next question, please. Oh, we're done. Thank you so much, sir. You have a message?
Yeah, this is about my initiative of the advisory. If you're interested, if you're facing problems with life, business, commerce, geopolitical impacts on the business, Sanatan Dharma, and how can I take these decisions in life, you can reach out to me. That this is the ID 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 about private confidentiality. There are a lot of questions you cannot ask me in a public forum, and there are a lot of questions I cannot answer in a public forum. So it's a very limited initiative, and thank you very much for all the great support I'm getting from all the people from all walks of life. Very much appreciated. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. And that brings us to a close of today's program. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. 59% of our viewers are subscribers, 41% are not. Imagine we can easily hit the 500,000 mark just like that if all those of you who watch our programs turned out to be subscribers, and that would help us boost our readings, and we'll also get more high value guests, and we're already ramping up our programming. You can see that for yourself, and just ask yourself this question: when was the last time I heard in 1 hour the entire perspective of about 150 years about what is Kashmir, the entire Kashmir, not bits and pieces here and there? Ask yourself this question. And if your answer is PGurus, please consider subscribing to our channel. Close your eyes, just click on the bell button for notifications. You're all set. Thanks once again, Sumitji, and we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. IST, to talk about our favorite neighbor, China. Namaskar.
Sir, I would also like to request today that people should subscribe. Even subscribing doesn't mean you have to always, watch our programs. You can watch at your leisure. You don't have to come live, but please do subscribe, because that also builds our morals. It helps us to bring more and more things, because the more people we reach, the more the merrier we are, because that is a morale booster for the entire team. So kindly subscribe. That's my hand-folded request to all of you. And on that note, I want to say Namaskar, Pranam, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Vande Mataram, and Har 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 Mahadev.